All right, and we are live. So, want to welcome everybody. Welcome to Midday Cafe, your cup of midday caffeinated goodness coming to you from your friends here at Microsoft Healthcare and Life Sciences. I'm your host today, Mike Gannotti, and I'm joined today by Scott. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Scott Moore, technical specialist. Nice to see everybody.
We also have Sue.
Hey, Sue Vencil, technical teams specialist. And also, I have the privilege of introducing you guys to our newest member of our little team family here. Phil, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, my name's Phil Urban. I'm a new technical specialist here at Microsoft, focusing on all things cloud endpoint.
Which
Awesome.
is a new position, right? I mean,
Yes, new for fiscal year 22.
Very
So
exciting.
why don't,
So a
before we
lot more
start,
information to come
tell
out
us,
of me soon.
tell us what that kind of means, cloud endpoint.
Well, some of it, we can talk about. Some of it we can't. But it's really about enabling, the workforce to do more things, leveraging cloud resources, whether that's Teams, whether that's portions of Office, whether that's virtual desktops in the clouds. It could be any of those things. There's Microsoft has an announcement coming out soon that might reference it. We don't know about that announcement, just as you guys don't know about that announcement. So more information coming soon, we hope.
Awesome. So you'll find out what your job is soon.
Exactly.
And then let us know.
Yeah, then we'll let the entire world know. Once I know, you'll know.
Excellent.
There we go. So last time that we had our podcast, inadvertently, the subject of I call it old faithful, Microsoft PowerPoint came up. And we decided, PowerPoint is like sometimes PowerPoint does so much, but is oftentimes like the poor stepchild that nobody talks much about. And it does all kinds of crazy, cool new things that a lot of our listeners may not be aware of. And so we wanted to bring that up. And I understand, Sue, you had something that you wanted to bring up to kick this off.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. So what I want to show is this new feature called PowerPoint Live. And the beauty of it is it allows you to present directly from Teams, directly from PowerPoint into Teams. I'm going to go ahead and share and try to, I'm going to try to show this today.
Awesome.
All right. So right now, you guys can't see my screen. So I'm going to describe for you what I'm seeing, and then I'm going to show you a screenshot and I'll describe it. So the beauty of being able to present, like right now, what you're seeing is the PowerPoint that I'm sharing directly from PowerPoint, from within it. And it allows me to see presenter mode. So it looks like this. I took this is like a cooking show, Mike G. I actually took this shot earlier today in preparation. And what I have, so hopefully are you guys seeing my cursor? Is that working?
I am not seeing your, oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. So right now, this is a screenshot of what I'm seeing. And what I like about it is that here is the actual PowerPoint. Over here are my notes. Mm-hmm. So I can see my notes, but what I really like, and what Microsoft, again, I have worked on multiple platforms. What I really like is how Teams has done a fantastic job of interacting. So over here, I can see the chats while I'm presenting. Someone throws a question at me, I see it. If someone raises their hand, I see it. I see my notes. I also have the ability to jump from slide to slide. I can annotate very easily. As you can see right here, we'll do some drawing, and that's happening again. I'm sharing with you a screenshot inside of PowerPoint right now is what this is.
Hey, Sue.
Yeah.
So quick question, because I liked when you, as you were moving it around, it reminds me of a pointer. That's the first thing. But when you went into the draw mode, I'm going to guess that you had to push something on the mouse.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what'd you do? Just push the mouse?
These buttons right here.
Gotcha.
Again,
So
this is the
you
screenshot.
selected. What about, and here's, I'm just going to throw this out. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
If you had a touch enabled device, could you
Yes.
draw?
Yes, you can. I'm curious. Let me see. Yeah, if I would have presented on my actual laptop, I would have been able to do that. Absolutely.
So yeah, so with a pen, then if you had like a Surface device, like I'm on a Surface book, I could take a pen and then go. Bloop.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I like that.
What I really like too is from a security perspective, I like the fact that it automatically puts me in do not disturb. No one's going to see any other messages. I don't have to worry about something that is super confidential, top secret showing up. I really like that. You know, it's a lot safer than sharing my entire screen. And then I just have two more slides, and we'll provide these in the blog. Again, this is just super simple instructions. So this is your share button. And when you do that, you also have fun with the different presenter modes, you know, where you can be like the weather person. And I think a lot of people forget about that, have some fun with it. But once you hit the share button, scroll down, you'll see PowerPoint Live, and then that's where you select your PowerPoint. Or from your PowerPoint, inside of PowerPoint, as long as it's saved on OneDrive, if it's saved in OneDrive, you will have a button that says Present in Teams.
Awesome. And again, and why is it needs to be saved to OneDrive?
Because you just taught me, because that's how it's able to share it.
Correct. Yeah. So if it's up in the cloud, now it's just a share. Basically, we're sharing that out, and I'm able to do that. Versus if it's local, there's not a service for doing that display and providing that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm learning. I've learned like 3 new things already today. It's like 12, 18. It's amazing. And then here's my last slide, and then we'll toss it. Again, this just goes over this is once you're in presentation mode. This is the screenshot I was sharing. One of the features, there's this little eyeball up here, so you can stop people from moving forward if you want them to stay with you.
Mm-hmm.
The default is that people can just they can take a look at your entire deck and then sync back up where the presenter is. And then just a bunch of other features are down here. And this is just a great slide. It just spells it out for you. It's a great, this is a good starting point if you want to check out PowerPoint Live.
Very cool. I mean, it seems to me like a no-brainer to be using.
Oh, I think so. I love it. And the beautiful thing is the interaction with the audience. As the presenter, I can nudge people, hey, give me a thumbs up. What kind of questions? Certainly someone has a question out there, and I can see where people are. You know, not seeing people's faces and not being live in person can be really difficult. Are you hitting the mark? I don't know. So I think this allows a presenter to check in with the attendees.
Very cool. So you're going to provide this then?
Yes, sir.
So shoot it to me when we're done as a PDF.
Got it.
All right. Scott, did you have something you wanted to talk about?
Just very briefly, I just wanted to kind of talk about some just very basic techniques that I do when I write PowerPoint presentations. It's really about animations. For me, because, you know, a lot of times people will present PowerPoints and it's way too much text on the screen. So one thing that I try to do when I do my PowerPoint presentations is I actually use animations. So in the way that I use animations is I use it kind of as a exclamation, but basically so that it, you know, so visually appealing, so that as you're going through a presentation on a deck, you can use the animation to kind of punctuate what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And it kind of it's more visually appealing, and it kind of leads people's eyes. And I'll kind of give you guys an example. So I'm going to quickly share, and this is just a very basic PowerPoint presentation. It took me about 30 seconds to create. So it's nothing fancy, but it's essentially just, 3 text items. So I'm actually doing it in regular, I'm going to go into regular presentation mode or just go into presenter mode. But started with a blank, and what you actually already saw was those 3 line items, and I put animations in there. And I actually, what I do is I kind of use a fly-in animation so that as I'm talking and using talking points, I'll use that, and that's really my talking point as I'm going through a deck. So boom, pow, wow. It's very simple. So I just wanted to kind of highlight it's to me when I give a presentation, with the animations, it definitely keeps the cadence going, keeps people more interested, and it kind of keeps you on target with what you're trying to say.
I get that.
What do you guys think?
I get that. And here's the other thing, PowerPoint has a bad reputation, and we've all heard that term, death by PowerPoint.
Definitely.
So
yeah.
anything you can do to keep it more interactive is, I think, key to a good presentation.
It's really so easy. So the thing is all you have to do is select your text and go under animations, and I love fly-in, but you can use any of these animations that are there. The key thing is you got to make sure that your text is actually selected, and then you can actually use the animations. If they're not selected, then they're going to be grayed out. One thing I found out. There are some more deeper controls around the animations and how you can actually reorder the animations, the animation pane. So you can go in here and do some further things a little bit deeper, but I'm not going to cover that today. I just really wanted to cover basic animations. I love doing this, and to me, it makes presentations pop. So that's what I had.
Awesome. Phil, any questions, comments?
No major questions, but Sue, if you can go back and share your screen, what you're showing before, it should show up in the recording here, but I think it's interesting to point out what the viewers of the PowerPoint see when someone does share the PowerPoint slides the way that you were showing before. So I'll wait for that to pop up and point out a couple things.
Please.
Awesome.
There you go.
So I'm not recording, but Mike, if you could kind of hover towards what I'm talking about here. So down that bottom left, it lets users navigate through the slide. So if you went too fast and they want to go back and say, oh, I missed something on that slide before, they can go back and see like, oh, okay, now I can read that extra bit of detail that was there that I might have missed because you moved too far. They don't have to stop the whole presentation and say, hey, can you go back 3 slides? It allows a lot more, makes it a little bit more accessible for users. Then similarly, there's that grid view button down there that lets them pick which one. So if you have like 80 slides in your Death by PowerPoint, they can quickly look through them, pick out the one that they want to see, and then also quickly go through and get back to the slide that we're talking about. And then that one, from the accessibility standpoint, if you hit that More Actions button, you can view slides in high contrast. So if you have users that have problems seeing things, or maybe you didn't think about those colors are a little bit off and maybe difficult for someone to read, it really helps from an accessibility standpoint. So we're building in lots of new features.
That's a great point. Because here, this little list, you should be seeing this too, where you can change the font. Is that what you were referring to, Phil?
You don't see on this, when you're presenting, you don't see it, but as a viewer of
but
the
it looks like this screenshot. Doesn't it look like this? It looks similar, right?
He's talking
it's more what
about
you have in the bottom left of your slides, where you can navigate through the slides.
Yep.
It doesn't show on your view because you're presenting. What Phil's talking about is, as a user, I get a bottom piece, and it even says, because I moved, it says it's live, sync to presenter, slide 2, and I can click, boom, and make sure I go. Like, if I was ahead, let me click a couple ahead, then I can go, oh, I want to get back to where the presenter's at. There's this grid view he was mentioning, and then next to that's 3 dots, and there is a view slides in high contrast. There also is translate slides for me because I have translator enabled. So I can come in here, and if I want to pick, let's say, Spanish, and come on.
Would it help if you share your, once you do that?
if he shares it, he won't be able to see it.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I had to do my homework, and like a cooking show.
Did
I
you
had to
do
take
these as screenshots? Some
I
of
think
these?
these are screenshots.
Yeah, that's why I'm not getting the translation. But
Oh, right.
be able to do it and then show the yeah. So I'd be able to translate it into my own language and be able to go back. But no, cool.
Right. And it's by design, right? That we can't see it, which is why I had to take a screenshot of my view so I could speak to it.
Phil, that was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So I got one I want to throw out there, and it's my favorite PowerPoint presentation that I still show customers, and they're like, what? And it all comes around when I'm talking to them about adoption, training, etc., and how people really, what they gravitate towards are not documents about you can do this and you can blah blah. They like to see, show me how. Oh, I see your dog back there. Is that your dog?
Your dog
back
just
there?
woke up.
That's awesome. I didn't notice it until I went. That's cool. But PowerPoint has this. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me see. I'm going to move PowerPoint over to there, and I'll bring a presentation deck that I show a lot. And we'll share screen. And that's going to, there it is. So that's popped up. And so in PowerPoint, let me get rid of that little piece. There is a feature called PowerPoint recording. Whenever I tell people PowerPoint recording, they think, oh, yeah, PowerPoint's had it forever. You record, and then it'll play back in a PowerPoint, your timings and all that. And I'm like, no. PowerPoint is a great tool for creating video for your users, streaming video. And so the first thing I'm going to go to is this. Probably most people don't see this. So Sue, you had mentioned you weren't familiar with this.
Yeah.
Do you have a tab up at top that says recording?
I do. I've never touched it.
How about you, Scott? Do you have it on yours?
I do. I've used it, but not recently.
Phil?
Yep, it's there.
Okay, so Microsoft, everybody, it's just enabled. Most of my customers, they're like, I don't see it. So the first thing I'm going to tell everybody is how to get this before I show them this. So the first thing you do is you click File. Then you go on down below to Options. Once the Options dialog box opens up, over on the left-hand side under PowerPoint Options, if you go down, you'll see where it says Customize Ribbon. You click on that, and then there are two columns. The one to the right, if you look at the under main tabs, if you scroll on down, you will see a box called recording. And in most orgs where they don't see it, it's because this is unchecked.
Makes sense.
Guess all you got to do, guess what? All you have to do is click check and then okay. And then you too will have this tab, recording. There's two primary things that PowerPoint recording does. One is record slides, and that's right here to the far left. It says record slideshow, and you'll see it says record from current or record from beginning. The reason why they have the two options is you may record one slide, two slides with you talking, and have, all the content that you want there, or and then you may stop, and then you can come back and go to another slide. Okay, pause, collect my thoughts. What do I want to say here? Then go to another slide and then say record from current slide, and it'll keep everything that's there. The other option though is this, and it is, I'm afraid if I'm going to try to do this. I may have to switch my screens I'm sharing. So let me just show what this looks like. I'm going to say record from current slide. Yes, and it did. move. So I'm going to, here we go. This is what it looks like. You get a record button. You get a stop button. You get a replay. If you have notes, people don't see the notes. You can show the notes. You can clear any recording. You can clear on this slide or for all slides. If you don't like what you do, they have a settings. What's your microphone? What's your camera? So now, oh, there we go. So it wouldn't use a camera before because I'm using my Brio for Teams, but now I use Microsoft Front. So now I get this, I get talking head, which by the way, once it records me in there, I can go ahead and move it around. I can also choose like a different microphone. So I'll just pick Realtek Array because I know I'm not using that. So now I can record audio, video with the overlay, just like Sue showed earlier with annotations. I've got annotations. I have a laser pointer. I've got eraser. I've got a pen. I've got a marker, highlighter. I have colors here that I can use either an actual pen or a mouse. If I don't want my picture showing here, I can turn off, for example, the camera, right? Not have it. Just have the audio. But I'm going to go ahead and have both, just so you see what it looks like. When I'm ready, and notice also we have advancing the slides. So I can do one slide at a time or all of them. If there's animations, Scott, they will come up with each click.
Yep.
Right? So it works with that. So I'm going to go ahead and click record. I get a countdown, 3, 2, 1. And I can say, hi, welcome to Microsoft Viva. Empower people and teams to be their best. And I can't even talk right now. Blah, 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 blah. And I can do all, like I said, little things. I could annotate and say, oh, you know, oops, let's pick a color. I don't know, red. For some reason, it is not letting me do. That's interesting. Oh, I'm getting laser pointer. So I can do all that in here. And then when I'm done, I simply click. I can click pause and then resume, or just click stop. When I click stop, I simply have to close. Notice what it's done. It's already inputted the video. I can play it to preview, right? The whole thing. Or I may want to take and move the talking head piece. And then I can do things that you can do in PowerPoint, like format how it looks, or I don't know, give it a picture look or something else, something goofy. But I can do all that here. I even can come back in the playback and trim that piece if I wanted. We're not going to do that here. But once I'm done, I can go through and I can record a couple of slides. Then if I want to do a recording of a screen, well, I can come in here and go back to recording. So let's add a blank slide where we're going to want to do that. And I'm just going to say home, new slide.
You know, Mike G, this would have been really helpful when I was recording my Viva pitch a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I used Teams to record it.
I use this all the time. Like my how-to videos online, this is what I do them in.
I get it.
This part is like the poor man's Camtasia, right? So I'm on this slide.
Yeah.
I say I want to do a screen recording right here. Click. It now turns my mouse into a crosshairs, right? So I can do a window or I can do the whole screen. I'll do the whole screen here. Boom. Nice. And then when I'm ready, you don't see it. It's over on the other screen right now. I can't drag it. Maybe I can. Can I drag this? No. On my main screen right now, it says record, stop, select area, audio, and pointer recorder. I'm going to click record, and there we go. Countdown.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
When you do the recording and when you finish the recording, does it still prompt you to save it as a new file?
Yes. It's going to want to save the whole PowerPoint with the embedded videos and everything. So I'm really straining my system right now. I'm opening yet another PowerPoint on top of the PowerPoint. Come on, chug-a-lug-a-lug. Did I open my browser too? I didn't want to do that. I'll just go, I'm showing the one that's going to embed in. So here we are, we're showing PowerPoint. Isn't it grand? Blah, blah, blah. When I'm all done, I simply go, I get that same drop down, which you're not seeing, it's on another screen. I click stop. Now it's going to drop everything that was recorded on that screen. I can resize the video.
Love it.
Right? Mm-hmm. Do whatever I want to format. And then last but not least, when I'm ready, I can publish it directly to stream. Or if I want to save it locally, I say export to video. By default, it says a 1080p. I can go all the way up to 4K. It automatically says use recordings and timings, which are all built in with everything else. And then I click, I'm not going to do it because I'll have to wait for it to render. Then it'll create the video and I'm done.
Very cool.
So I can do a mix of PowerPoint and screen sharing to show me how. And I can create video very easily from PowerPoint, very rich demonstration videos. And I don't have to be a Camtasia expert or a Adobe Premiere or some other video editing. I know how to use PowerPoint. I know how to go click and show things. That's it.
Very cool. Thanks for showing that, Mike G.
So that's mine.
And that's actually been around for. I mean, I remember back in 2011, you could easily do. And I know voice back then because I'd actually done it with mirroring voice and live presentations into a PowerPoint. But it's really cool to see all these new features with video and sharing the stream. It's
totally cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody have anything else?
Looking for ideas for next one.
Well,
send them to us.
So ideas for next one from people out there. I'm just going to show this really, really quick then, just because, again, people just don't seem to know. So let me go ahead and share. I'm just going to share regular and screen 2. So here we are again in showing a screen. Within PowerPoint itself, if you go up to the search bar and you type, well, number one, I'd use translate. There is translator. If you want to translate your slides or content in slides for different formats, it's all right there. But also, if you start typing subtitles, right, you're going to get this subtitle settings. You can say always use them. So when you present, so this is kind of cool. When you go to present, I'm going to say subtitle language. Let's make the I don't know, whatever you want to make it. French. Where's French? There we go. And whoops, what did I just do? Get back here. And then I had not clicked. I'm just going to click it. Subtitle again. And I'm going to say always use just so it'll automatically do it. So we can come in here and go to present. Now I'm going to start to present slideshow. And so here we are. We're presenting on this slide, and you can see my French that is appearing. I do not speak French well. I remember from 7th grade French, which Madame Cohen was very kind to pass me in. I remember je ne parle français, which means I don't speak French. See, it tried to do it literally. But here we are, and we're getting translations. So when you have multiple, and I will tell you, I actually had to travel back and forth for a compete with, I'll just say, a very large search vendor who does some productivity years ago, and with a very large pharma org, and I was going back and forth to France. And when I did my presentations, this is what I was doing. I had them, the presentations were in English. I used Translator to have a translated version to leave with them. But as I presented, I turned on subtitles. And that's it. So that's my other little tip.
Yeah, that's a good one. And Mike G, do we charge extra for that?
I would say it's free, but it's value add. No, you get it with the system. It's part of our accessibility. I mean, accessibility isn't just, if I'm hearing impaired, which I could do that in English though for hearing impaired, right?
Right.
An English audience. But it's for accessibility across multiple languages and all. I mean, visual versus hearing, all kinds of things, right? So
yeah, and I think accessibility is going to be coming up on every single MidDay Cafe one way or another because of Microsoft's focus on closing that disability divide. I love it.
I was looking to see.
That.
I don't see it.
It all ties into all the products too, right? If we hit publish to stream here, it gets published to stream. Stream has those live translate capabilities built in. Teams, I have the transcription going at the bottom of this call right now built into Teams. So while we're focusing on PowerPoint here, it's about how you're using the tools in your day-to-day life. They all kind of work together on that whole accessibility front.
So I just opened one. I didn't know if it was enabled mine or not, but if you're not familiar, then I'm just going to shut up and we'll close this out. Immersive Reader, which is enabled in more and more applications from Microsoft. It's now enabled in SharePoint for online content where it'll read to you and stuff. You can, here you go. You can hear it, how to hear text and stuff, but look up Immersive Reader and Microsoft. Just go and Bing it, Google it, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo it, whatever the case might be. Search on it and some real cool stuff.
Maybe we can talk about that next week.
That's cool. Well, you're Miss Accessibility.
I'm trying. I mean, it's a lot of work to live up to that title. There's just so much.
Reader.
Yeah, we can do that next week. I think it'd be cool to see.
Yeah, well, let's talk accessibility. We can talk immersive and then some other cool stuff we're doing.
There's some great stuff built into Windows 10 about accessibility too. People that are colorblind, hard to see, hard to hear. A lot built in.
Dude, we're gonna tap you next week.
Yep. Done.
All right. Anybody have any last thoughts? Any big thing come through with them and a customer you want to talk about? Anything?
Q4, man.
Q4. Yeah.
I will mention a Teams thing at the end. End-to-end encryption. It's coming. It's coming in July. So there's been some public announcements around end-to-end encryption.
Although I'm going to just throw this out there. We're doing it because everybody asks. It's one of those check boxes.
Yeah.
My gut says once people really understand what end-to-end encryption does, most of their security folks won't let them do it.
Right. And that's right. One thing with that though, it is once it does get enabled, you do have that ability that you can toggle it on and toggle it off via policy. Yeah. So you can do it for subsets of people or for the entire organization, but it's coming.
And that's a good thing.
But it has been announced that it will be available, July, and it should be available on almost everybody's tenants, by mid-July.
Yeah.
That's public knowledge as of right now.
Cool. And I guess that's it. I do want to do, not next week because we're going to do accessibility. I want to do a Viva Connections one soon. And the reason this is my one experience. I was on with an account team today, and our own folks' misunderstanding about the level of complexity, not to mention customers not understanding and by default thinking, well, this is going to be a huge shift and lift effort. And Scott, is it a huge shift and lift?
Not at all. It's very easy. I can attest to that.
I got into it with some internal folks. I'm like, this is like the stupidest, simplest no-brainer to get from A to B. Yes, but they're going to want to do wireframing with this and this group and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. you people are way overthinking this. So I want to hit on that. I got into, I will say, I was a little a testy mood. That's a nice way to say it. I got into a little testy, and then when I finally explained it and went through it, they're like, "Wait a minute, that's like totally the opposite of the way I'm positioning. I've been positioning this way makes way more sense." And I was like, "Thank you, thank you very much." This is not rocket science, and that includes for people who are on-prem today. So, all right. Any last thoughts? Any things people want to call out? Upcoming events, shout outs before we close? In the next 30 seconds.
It's the new version of Windows. What was the date? Was it the 25th?
24th.
We're showing something about Windows on the 24th.
New version, the next version, something like that.
Something like that. There's something happening with Windows 24th.
It's coming out.
Stay tuned. Stay in Bat Channel. All right. Well, with that, this is Mike.
Scott?
Sue.
And Phil.
Bidding everybody, thank you for tuning in. Remember to share this. You can always find all of us as well as our colleagues on our blog at aka.ms/HLS blog. That's aka.ms/HLS blog. You can also find us all on LinkedIn. We'd love to hear your thoughts, your questions, your ideas. Please let us know. Share this with your colleagues. Let them know about the weekly podcast. And again, you can also find us for your audio mobile pleasure on iTunes podcasts, Spotify, as well as on Google Podcasts. And with that, bid you have a great day. Take care. And as always, ciao.